Hey, it's Rich, the Louisiana Hobby Guy, and we are done with the storm here. So it's been a while. It's been over a week where I've been able to even think about making a video. And we had Hurricane Francine that came through here, but now I'm back. Everything's pretty much recovered, just a little more cleanup. And today I am here to introduce to you that laser right there that you see behind me. That is made by RMLASER. It is a new company in the retail market, but they have been in the wholesale market for about 15 years now. So some of you may recognize that laser back there. They have been selling in the EU and Australia under other brand names, and they are now coming into the retail market here in the USA. So that's what today's video is. I am going to show you what I believe to be the best budget laser on the market today, CO2 laser. And when I say budget, this outperforms all of the other budget lasers that you'll find, either on eBay or who the sellers are of the budget lasers. This laser sells for the same or less price with far superior parts. Everything about this laser is quality. I know that a lot of you that are into CO2 lasers that have small lasers, like the 40 watt or the 50 watt, and you need something bigger, you need something that's maybe a bigger size. 700 by 500 is what this laser is right here. It comes in under 5 grand, well under 5 grand, and that is delivered to your door. And they have just launched a website. In the description below, I've got a special link that lets them know that I sent you to their website. And so if you just click on ... more below the video, you'll see a link there with my code that'll let them know that you found their website through my video. And today, what we're going to do is several parts. So the first part of this video is going to be receiving the laser from the truck, uncrating it, putting it together, which is basically the stand, and going through everything that comes in the crate. The second part of this is going to be how I use absolute coordinates with this laser, how I set it up. Very simple to do. The third part is going to be and actually I think I'll run this video somewhere in the video up in the top, a small actual job at actual speed of the praying hands, an 8-inch version of the praying hands, and that way you can see the laser actually working. I don't have the video equipment in this shop anymore to do this properly, but I do have a video of it working. So the first part is going to be all pictures, and then we'll go through some functions, and then we'll wrap it all up. And I'll put timestamps down below if you want to jump around. So let's get started, and let's take a look at the initial receiving of the laser. All right, so let's get started with what to expect on your delivery. Now, this is the J750, and as you can see, it's a pretty big crate comes in. I also want you to take notice of the way that it's crated. If we look in here close up, you see these nuts and bolts? Man, I'll tell you what, that is such a great idea. I've gotten lasers before that had these big 1-inch staples. Man, are they dangerous. This makes it so easy to uncrate this and get everything out of the package. Notice that metal on top. There are 2 metal box beams on the top of this. And typically, when you get the delivery by LTL, like I did, it's going to be a floor load. But I can tell you that when they're going from destination, like for instance, in my case, it went from Pomona, California to Texas, and then to a nearby city here near New Orleans. And all of those transports, they're going to be stacked. And other laser companies, they have problems with it crushing the top of the box and so on. This has actual 3/4 inch plywood reinforcement all the way around. If you look there, you'll see that 3/4 inch plywood, and the box is properly labeled, and there are the bolts that hold it all together, and which makes all of the plywood reusable, by the way. So here it is with the help of my son. We're uncrating it. We just took out the top bolts and starting to take a look at what's inside. Those are the supports that are for the table that it sits on. And you can see that there is the honeycomb right there on top. The first time I looked at this, I saw that recce box for the laser tube, and I said, oh no, don't tell me I got to install a laser tube. Look, it's not a big deal. It's 5 minutes to install it. It's just a pain in the butt. So I was kind of shocked when we found out that that was actually a spare laser tube, a spare. So when I took off the back cover to start installing the laser tube, I was shocked to find out that there was already a tube that was in there. And that's great, because the recce tubes, you can actually swap those out, like let's say every 6 months or so, and just swap them back and forth, and they'll last for a very long time. So here is the laser itself in the packaging. You can see in the bottom right over here, we already took out the cooler and some of the other packaging. Over here is the toolbox. There's the chiller. That's the CW5200. And this hose over here was really interesting. I've never seen one like it. It feels like rubber. It's a rubberized hose. It's not one of those cheap tinfoil ones that you normally would expect to get. And this is the box with the extra tube in it. It's properly labeled everywhere. On here, you can see the FDA information, the bill of lading, and the address to deliver to. Everything done really nicely. This is the first con that I would say. There are a couple of cons to this laser, and this is the first one. These are the bottom bolts, and you can't take those out because they hit the pallet that's underneath it. Now, this is a pallet on top of a pallet. We wound up just having to get a deep socket to take it off. Not a big deal. But they should flip these around to have the bolt head up on the top. And here we've got it mostly disassembled. And what we've done is turned it on its side and then flipped it around so that we could get it up onto a hand dolly. Yeah, it's heavy, 360 pounds or whatever the weight of it is. But once you hit that tilt point, it's really easy to maneuver. It only took one person, my son, to wheel this across the grass and over a couple of obstacles and get it into the laser shop. There it is in the shop. We only used the one strap to strap it to the dolly. We were very careful with it. Next stop is going to be on a moving dolly and into the office next door. So this is the toolbox that comes with it, and there are some surprising things in here. You've got all of the tools that you need. You've got the network cable, you've got the USB cable, you've got the door lock key, you've got the water lines, you've got the air lines, you've got an extra air valve there in case anything goes wrong. You've got those cleaning swabs for the mirror when you need to clean your mirrors. If you use some like 99% IPA or purity like I use, everything is in here. Then you've got that key over here and an extra limit switch. There's just so much extra parts in here. Everything you need is in here. Getting started with the table itself that it sits on, I guess this took maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes altogether. It's got the permanent legs on the bottom, the leveling legs, so that you can get it level. And then it's got extra heavy duty wheels on it as well, locking wheels. If you have a level surface, you can leave it on the wheels. If not, you can use those, dial out those legs to get it level. And so there is the final stand. Peeve number 2 is coming up. Is that, see these little holes right here? These holes are where the legs fit into. So it is kind of tough getting those lined up. But we did eventually figure out that we just put it up, we tilted it up on top of the stand. And instead of the two of us trying to get the legs into the holes, my son knelt down and I just moved it back and forth until they dropped in. So it wasn't a big deal, but it took a little figuring to figure out. Opening the back cabinet, this is where I got the surprise. I opened the back door and there sits a Recce 90-watt glass tube. Just a matter of removing all of that protective styrofoam, which they had this extremely well packed. On the bottom right side of the back, there is the air inlet and a water separator, as you can see. This is where the air goes into the laser, and that is already there in place. And then over here is where your air line plugs in, and they do give you the air line. Down at the bottom, you're going to see a plug over here for your CW5200 that plugs into the back of your chiller. Then you've got the water in and water out over here. The fan, I know this is upside down, but there's the model number if you want to look it up. It seems to be, taking a guess, it's about twice as powerful as my last big CO2 laser. And there you can see that hose is plugged in. And I like I said, I've never seen a hose like this before. It's actually rubberized, or at least it feels that way. And it's very thick. And there's the extra tube. You can see that I already had cut this open in preparation for installing the laser tube, and was pretty shocked when I found out that that tube was already installed, and that's just a spare. So here is the entire machine completely set up. On the front, you've got your big pass-through over here. You've got another pass-through on the back. Over here in the right side, on the bottom, you've got your USB drive, your camera plug. It does have a 15 megapixel camera. This is your air pressure control right here. For I guess there are two types of air pressures on a CO2, and that's wind and blow. So this is the wind, and you turn this knob, and that keeps your laser head clean. It's completely adjustable as you're engraving. And then you've got the blow, which is on top, and that is for your high-speed air, and that's turned on and off by Lightburn. And then over here you've got your double red light pointer button to turn it on and off, and we'll get a little bit more into the top in just a moment. Everything in this laser is marked, so you can actually physically see if something is not right, if a screw is loosening up or something like that. On the inside, you'll notice it's got a really nice transmission in the back, and you'll see that you have a small gear on the top, larger gear on the bottom. This is a high performance stepper motor. This runs, they claim that it runs 800 millimeters per second. I've run it at 800 and 1000, and there is a substantial difference. So I've gotten it up to 1000. I did check the control board, the machine settings, and it does have a max speed of 1000 millimeters per second. So don't use a knife or anything to take this off. It's very heavy duty zip tie, and use, a good pair of wire cutters or something like that. It's kind of hard to get off, but it's got a really nice belt on it. And the benefit of this transmission is that there's less stress on the stepper motor. The stepper motor outputs to the smaller gear on the top, which then outputs to the larger gear on the bottom. And that helps you get a higher speed, less belt climb, and more accurate engraving. Just a nice setup. These transmissions are on both the X and the Y. So you do get a knife blade, aluminum knife blade that comes with it. And all you do is insert the blades into the slots. Make sure that you've got the thin side up, the pointy side up, and there is all of them installed. And there is the machine with the pass-through open. Really, really nice machine. I was very pleasantly surprised when I put this together. They do have a custom Roly controller, which I think at first, the first week that I had it, I didn't like it, but after about a week or so, this is much more simpler than any Roly that I've used. This is your air pressure gauge. This is a commercial Accutech gauge. And now this is for your blow. So when you turn on air on a layer in Lightburn, this is this gauge right here. I usually set it to about 15, and there is a manual control knob just to the right of it where you can set whatever pressure that you want. There's that manual control I was talking about right here with the red bottom to it. Your e-stop is right here. This over here is the control for the interior lighting. It has a variable resistor in there, and you can control it from dim to bright. Just a really nice setup. And up on the top up here is your guide for all of these buttons on the custom Roly panel. One of the things I like most, I'll give you a better picture of this in just a couple moments, is the quality of everything that's on here. What you see down below here are two red dot lasers that come from each side, and that is your focusing guide. It's very, very simple to focus this laser. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Here is an extra lens, and remember, you don't ever touch these lenses because they are toxic. When you clean these lenses for a CO2, you have to always make sure that you're wearing gloves. Also comes with a USB flash drive, and everything on here is everything that you need for the setup. So if you want to use RDWorks, that's on there. If you want to use Lightburn, that's on there. But I suggest you go to Lightburn's website and download the latest version instead. They've got some videos on this USB drive. They've got the manuals on the drive and a few other things, just chock full of information. In the toolbox came with an extra limit switch. These limit switches are notorious for going bad on budget lasers, not so much on the more expensive ones, because they have a better setup on the gantry and on the Y. And usually what happens is you'll hit them and they'll get out of adjustment, and people replace them when all they really needed was an adjustment. But if you should happen to need a replacement on either the X or Y, you've got a brand new one in the toolbox. They also have some high adhesive tape in there, and it's actually a complete roll. I know a couple of the budget laser companies, they include like a foot of tape, which is ridiculous. But this is if you need to do a scorch test when you're adjusting your mirrors. My mirrors were absolutely perfect from the factory. They've even got some swabs in here. When you need to clean your mirrors, either 99% IPA or like what I use is Purity Lens Cleaner. You just get those wet and it's a nice swab. Covers a lot of area and it makes it easy to clean your mirrors. Just a nice added touch there. These are the double red dot pointers that I was talking about earlier, and these are solid. Like I said, this is a quality build here. Two buttons on the controller. You raise or lower the bed till those two dots are on top of each other. Now, I did do a ramp test on this, and the focus was about 1/4 of a millimeter off, which is good enough for government work. As far as I'm concerned, that was perfect. I tried to move them by hand. They would not move. So they're nice and solidly in place. I know some of you may have those K40s out there where if you just bump it, the red dot pointer goes off. But I find that I love this focus. If you go on YouTube, the people that have the pen focus, the autofocus with the pen, I mean, that is just ridiculously hard to use and never seems to come perfectly set from the factory. So you have to go into the machine settings and make all kinds of tests and adjustments. This is so much easier to use. You either raise or lower the bed until the two dots are on top of each other. Once they are, you're perfectly focused and ready to go. So there is the entire machine again. Got everything done now, and I'm ready to hook up the water and the air and the network. This is your extra valve should you need to change it. They've just thought of everything in advance. If anything goes wrong, you've got the parts there. And then you've got your keys. I ran down to the market and I picked up 2 gallons of distilled water. And then I've had this Tetra for about 10 years now that I use in my water tanks. And about 5 drops of Tetra algae control or any type of fish tank broad spectrum algae control. And about 5 drops of Dawn dishwashing detergent. And that helps to lubricate the inside of the tube so the air bubbles don't stick and they evacuate very quickly from the tube when you turn on your chiller. Here is where you'll find keys. This is on the Y-axis, and there you can see the transmission for the Y-axis. Again, use some heavy-duty clippers on these. That's it for the pictures. So let's get into the actual laser itself. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to focus this laser. I'm going to move the laser head by using the arrows on the keypad here. Just going to move it over the wood. And there we go. So this laser comes with double red dot pointers, as you can see right there. And they're both pointing down at the material. So all you have to do is move the bed up or down until those two dots come together. And let me show you how easy that is on this controller. So on this controller, you just press the cog wheel, the blue cog wheel right here. That brings you to the menu for the Z move. Now all you have to do is up or down. That's it. So if we press the up button, you'll see that the laser is starting to move. So if I come down in here and press that button, you'll see how I get a perfect focus on this piece of material. And once we're finished with either up or down, we just hit the back button right here. And that turns our menu back to the original, where we can now, pressing the buttons now moves the laser head. Very, very simple to focus this laser. Now, I know most people are used to using current position when they're using a CO2 laser. I'm not. I'm used to absolute coordinates with everything that I do, and this may not even apply to some of you because you're not going to do it. But what I've done is I've moved this honeycomb to the top left corner. What I did was I took a piece of wood and I put it in the corner. Then I focused first, obviously, and now I've got that 0, 0 position of the laser is the top right corner. So now I've set the top inside corner to that corner up there. So now when I move the laser, it moves right along the edge. That's right to the end right there. And then if I move down, you'll see that it moves right along the edge. So now I can work from 0, 0 out in absolute coordinates anywhere on this workbed. And that solves my problem of not being used to working in current position. All right, so now let's take a look at some of the things that I've done on this laser. So I did a bunch of Lightburn graphics on acrylic because what I'm doing is building a library, a Lightburn library for this machine. And I did, this is blue and yellow. And like I said, I can't really show you close-up pictures of these. This is a clear acrylic, and these are engraved and then cut out. This is green, and all of these were done at 1,000 millimeters per second on the engraving. And I don't remember the setting for the cut right now. This is the red. So this is how I developed the libraries for all of these. And then I went and did some other things. This is a really small praying hands. Most of the lines in here are less than a millimeter. Came out really, really nice. I did some wood, which you saw live. I did a clear green acrylic, and really that's probably about 50 hours worth of testing is what I've done so far on this machine, and it has performed flawlessly. So the manufacturer recommends that you run it at 800 millimeters per second. I ran all of these at 1,000 because I wanted to see what the clarity would be. And of course, first thing I did was I did go ahead and do some scanning offsets. So it took me 4 tries to get the offsets just right on this, but I went from 100 to 700. And in Lightburn, you only need to have 2 points, 2 reference points for the scanning offsets to be verified by the software. So I went from 4 different runs on this one job, and I wound up at 700 millimeters per second, absolutely perfect, with perfect edges on here. So I knew that it was going to work right or work well at 800 millimeters per second. I did those at 1,000. They all came out perfectly. I don't see any distortions whatsoever. Again, I can't really get these to focus on camera, but there you can get an idea, hopefully, if I put it over my face. But anyhow, I got the settings dialed in. At 700 millimeters per second, I did a scanning offset of 0.25, and that made it perfect all through that range, and even up to 1,000 millimeters per second, I had absolutely no problem. So I've been just doing bunches of different material tests, and that's where I've gotten the numbers for all of these different pieces of acrylic. As time goes on, I'm going to do other things. I just started on cork, and I just started on wood. I only did plywood so far, but yeah, that's an idea of what I've been doing for the last month and a half with this machine. Okay, so that's about it. If you want to take a look at this machine or any of the other machines that they do have several machines. They have the 630, which is the smaller desktop version. They have this 760. They have the 960, and then the 1300 series. They have quite a few different lasers that are in stock here in the United States, ready to ship to you. The company has given me great support. The people that I've talked to that have one of these lasers already say that they've gotten great support. You got a lot of information on the USB drive, including videos. So it's really, when I say it's the best budget laser on the market, what I really mean is that it's one of the best CO2 lasers that I've ever used. I've had Boss, I've had Thunder. I don't think there's anyone that makes a better laser. This J series laser is beautiful. I mean, I absolutely love it. So I'm going to say that based on my 50 or 60 hours of use of this laser so far, it gets a big thumbs up. And in the price that it's in, it should be double or triple the price, and that's pretty much the quality that you're going to expect from this. Is the same as a laser that would be double or triple the price. So I would say take advantage of it while you can, because who knows? I'm pretty sure that the sales on this machine and the people that are using it, just like the Lasermatic diode laser, you got a really high quality laser. It came out of nowhere. Nobody's seen it before, and all of a sudden, boom, it's the best diode laser on the market. Well, I think the same thing is going to happen here with this machine in this price range. If you're under 10 grand, in the under 10 grand price range, you have everything to choose from this company. They're basically selling you giving you a wholesale price and selling it to you at retail. Remember, they've been in the business for 15 years and they've been wholesaling these. So their goal here in the United States, they want to make the same profit, and they want to sell to retail customers and make their brand known around the world. So they're already set up here in the United States and Canada, as well as the EU and Australia. And I'm pretty sure that these lasers right here are just USA and Canada, but I'm not positive. So that I'll give more information on this as I make more videos. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for all of the good wishes. We just got the internet back yesterday. Thank you for the good wishes during the hurricane and your support. And so I really appreciate you coming by and taking a look at this video today. Down below is the special link, and that does give me a small commission, so that helps the channel to grow. So there's a special link to their website where you can take a look at all of the different models that they make. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And as always, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bourbon in my hand, fish on the fire. It's a Louisiana Hobby Guy, never tie, got my laser engraver. Been making everything right, carving my name day and night, wooden sign.